again. Welcome to another edition of the Front Row Roundtable Show presented by Ralphie's. Thank you for being here. And it's Big John Welkowski from the St. John's Radio Network, Marty Bin from Fairway Mortgage, and all over the place.
We're one for one.
I thank you. I made a note of that. All right. We're in the middle of the baseball playoffs. We're going to get to some college football. We'll get to some NFL. A lot of NFL coming up. The biggest thing out of the playoffs so far is that, the Indians are done.
That was quick.
3 and out.
If you can't score runs, you're not going to win.
That's usually a pretty good theory going in.
Well, now the question is, where's the window going forward?
You have a large gap to close to the 3 or 4 teams who are above you, and you're not closing it anytime soon. I'm not talking in the division. That's a whole separate problem. It's like being the best of the worst, but you put them in any other division.
The window to win it all, is it closed?
Yes.
I think so. I'm
going to crack it open just a little bit.
Okay.
I can't say it's totally closed.
It's
but
a game of
I'm leaning your way more than I'm leaning the other way.
Yeah, it's a game of bullpens anymore, and their bullpen, A, wasn't good, and B, they lose most of the guys. Well, I guess that's a double-edged sword, and if they're not very good, you're losing them. It's
right. Well,
what are you losing?
I don't think they're going to be sad about Cody Allen leaving. No. He's a free agent. Andrew Miller, quite frankly, couldn't stay healthy.
Right.
You got to wonder how healthy he'll stay going forward.
Right. They gave up a lot for him and paid him a lot of money to be on the disabled list 3 times this year.
Well, he was making $9 million, and Brad Hand that they got from San Diego, he's going to make $7 next year.
Well, see, and in Hand you have a built-in closer. I mean, you don't need to bring back Miller or Allen because you have Hand who has done it before and can do it. And Simber is also under team control too for still a couple of years.
Simber's been a disappointment.
He has, but he was good in San Diego if they can figure out what he was doing. What the difference was.
He was pitching to pitchers every so often.
It's only once every. And by the time the relievers come in, you're not facing pitchers.
Well, here's one of the things you got to look at, and they only have about $80 million on the payroll on the books for next year.
Only.
Yeah, compared to everybody else.
Yeah,
once again,
graded on a curve. That's an A+.
This is all comparative here.
Yeah, I know. It's all relative.
When the teams that you're bucking your heads against in the playoffs are running, 170, 80, $200 million payrolls, this isn't much.
Right. But will they go out and spend is the question.
Well, that's part of it, but see, here's the other part, is that at what point do you start to rebuild?
Well,
or do you just keep retooling because the rest of the division's so bad? Get yourself in the playoffs, take the slim chance you can overcome 2 of the 3 between Houston, Boston, and the Yankees, which don't look like they're going to weaken anytime soon. No, and those teams have minor league systems too.
And to me, that's the management decision and the ownership decision you have to make. Is it okay to win the division, be competitive, give your fans a little glimmer of hope, and then stink in the playoffs, which is what's going to continue to happen with the roster built the way it is? Or do you want to rip the Band-Aid off and start over and actually try and win something? And I think the answer is they're going to muddle around it. Mediocre division winner. And by the way, I think if you put that team in any other division and they have to play the other division schedule, they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I actually heard today that the Indians had as many wins against over 500 teams as the White Sox and Tigers did this year. I mean, they didn't beat anybody with a winning record, not, at an exceptional rate. So if you're not beating winning teams, it's great that you won 90 games in that division, but you're not winning anything in the playoffs.
Well, if you would rip the Band-Aid off, then you might regret the Francisco Mejia deal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, you had to go for it this year because this was...
Well, to me, every team that's in that situation that doesn't win regrets it later. But if you don't make those decisions, you probably don't win and you don't close the gap. And clearly there was a gap and they needed some offense and it just didn't work out.
Well, and they didn't give themselves the chance.
Right.
You had to do that to give yourself the chance this year. But down the road, you don't know how it's going to end up. Everybody always looks back to the John Smoltz for Doyle Alexander trade. Not that I think that Mejia is going to be a Hall of Famer. I saw him a couple times this year with Columbus. I wasn't overly impressed, so, I mean, it is what it is, but.
I still defend that train. At the time, you didn't know that about Smoltz. All he was a kid with a gun.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
I mean, the guy had a 5 ERA in A-ball.
If he doesn't end up with Leo Mazzoni, you don't know if he ever harnesses everything either.
Well, and Doyle Alexander went 9-0. So, I mean, you got what you wanted out of the trade.
And they won the division,
right.
They had the best record in baseball.
Right, you got what you wanted out of the trade.
Unfortunately, they were out of gas when they faced the Twins.
Right. So looking at it, I don't think that trade was a bad decision. I just think it was what you had to do at the time. And the reality is, it didn't matter in the short run. And I don't think there are moves you can make heading into next year. They're gonna. I mean, what are you gonna go sign Trout or Harper or I mean, you gonna,
yeah, Harper or Machado, both free agents.
I mean, the splash you have to make is going to cost huge dollars, and I don't see it happening.
Well, the thing is, though, they had 4 starting pitchers that struck out over 200 apiece, which has never been done before. They're all going to be back. So it's not like they have to go from scratch. I mean, that's right, the rotation's a difficult thing to put together.
Right, but see, again, and I don't want to disparage that rotation because I think it's very talented, but 200 strikeouts against one of the worst hitting divisions ever, and a division that offensively
but it's never been done before, okay?
Right, but that division was historically bad. That division was awful.
All of baseball set a record for the most strikeouts in a season.
The point is,
there were over 40,000 strikeouts this year.
The point is the rotation's healthy. You don't have to do anything to the rotation.
Right.
No, correct. You don't. But is the top end of that rotation enough to do what you have to do, and then the bullpen enough, and then, oh, by the way, go find some offense? And I think there's just too many pieces there that aren't in place where the 3 teams that we're talking about ahead of you all have maybe not all those pieces, but have most of those pieces in place and only need little tweaks to fill those things out. And I think it's too big a gap.
It's a puncher's chance at this point.
Well, and really, with as bad as the division is, you can do little tweaks and maybe take yourself down a notch to try to start rebuilding and still win the division.
Here's the thing, though. That White Sox team is loaded with kids, and they could get good fast. I don't think they're ready to this coming up year.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they also have some guys who haven't shown that they can be good yet.
Well, sure.
I mean,
that's why they're kids. Well. I'll take a timeout and come back. We'll talk some football on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's a Front Row Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good. At Ralphie's, it's primetime football every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday nights. Enjoy endless wings starting at 8 p.m. each night and carry-out specials every day. Plus special pricing on all Labatt products, plus new craft and IPAs for the fall. As always, beer buckets only $10 Friday and Saturday. Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
Mortgage Marty here. We hear every day here at Fairway how tight the housing market is, how there's just so few great homes out there. And I want to remind everybody, we have a fantastic suite of renovation products. They are basically designed where you can buy a house, borrow extra money over and above the sale price, get contractors lined up, and we pay them after closing. So the work is done after closing. You get to pick who you're going to use, and you can buy that house, fix it up, and create what you want. With as tight as the market is right now, in fact, I have probably a half a dozen customers who are to the point where they're so frustrated they're about to give up. So just think renovation loan.
It's October Obsession as Powerbomb Wrestling is back in action in Toledo on Sunday, October 28th at 5 p.m. St. Clements Hall, 2990 Tremainsville Road. 2 huge steel cage matches headline the card. A triple threat match for the heavyweight title, and also a steel cage match decides the tag team championship. Get your advanced discount tickets right now at pbwexcitement.com. It's Sunday, October the 28th at St. Clements Hall, Powerbomb Wrestling. And welcome back to Front Row Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's. And don't forget about the all-you-can-eat wing specials, Ralphie's, for the primetime games, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday nights, and plenty of other specials as well at your area Ralphie's. All right, week 5 is in the books. Week 6, what?
I'm glad week 5 is over.
As soon as we go to break, he starts ranting about the Cowboys.
It's hard to
and
watch.
how Jerry Jones is the best owner in the game.
Wait a
and
minute.
how he agrees with what he just said.
What I said is, for the first time in maybe 10 years, I agreed with something that came out of Jerry's mouth. That was what I actually said, and that was that the Cowboys haven't had a number 1 receiver in a long time. And I thought, exactly, since like Dez's second or third year in the league, they haven't. That's a long time ago. That receiving core is awful.
Well, it's awful because you let your best receiver walk.
Well, it's awful because
it'd be bad if he was there.
It's awful because owner Jerry Jones won't fire general manager Jerry Jones and bring in a real general manager.
You were saying Des Bryant would be a 2 on any other team, but now you guys got a 3 as a 1, so.
Maybe a 4. I mean, look, when you look in the mirror and say Cole Beasley's my best receiver, you got to like talk yourself into believing that.
How hard is it to find wide receivers in the NFL, for heaven's sakes?
There have been plenty of. You go sign Tavon Austin, who's 4 foot nothing. And by the way,
even the Rams couldn't figure out something to do with it.
Wasn't UT's receiver core better than what the Cowboys have right now?
I'd take Toledo's receivers right now. Cody Thompson and John Van. I'd take them right now. Sign them up. Better threats. What's a football move, by the way, since we've been talking? Because now that we talk about Tavon Austin.
Here we go.
Well, here's the weird thing, because I'm not trying to be a fan. There were 2 catches in that game.
You are a fan.
I am, but I'm not trying. I said I'm trying not to be. So Tavon Austin reaches up for the ball, squeezes it tight, looks down, toe taps, falls on the ground, ball hits off his pads and bounces off. Incomplete pass, because he didn't make a football move. And I thought, well, what is actually looking down and toe? So then the Texans receiver catches it, falls to his knee, and then rolls over, and that's not a football move in the end zone for a touchdown. I'm like, apparently grabbing it and then pulling it in is not a football move. Like, you have to then turn and run. I don't even know.
I thought they had taken all that out of the whole discussion of what a catch was. So.
Well, would you assume if somebody goes up like this and squares it up in their hands, is not bobbling it one bit, toe taps, and then pulls it in, falls on the ground out of bounds, and the ball bounces out, that's now a catch under the.
I thought it was supposed to be, yes.
I texted you and said, well, that's a catch. They're going to overturn this, and they came and said they didn't make a football move. And I thought I could cross this off my list of stupid things the NFL was doing, and it's back on now.
Is falling down a football move?
Toe tapping's a foot. I mean. And yeah, falling down is a football move. It's just usually not intentional.
No, falling down was a football move.
I've seen plenty of people fall down. Okay, I'm done. I don't get it.
Cowboy fan, Redskin fan. Redskins are leading the NFC East at 2-2.
Yeah, and if you
by themselves.
And if you watch the other night, you'll wonder why.
Browns Steelers are 2-2-1. They're sharing the last place in the.
By the way, congratulations to the Browns.
AFC North.
Through 5 games, they have now achieved every possible combination of outcomes in an NFL schedule, and there are 5 of them: win in regulation, lose in regulation, win in overtime, lose in overtime, tie at the end of overtime. Those are the 5 possible outcomes of an NFL game, and through 5 weeks, the Browns have achieved all 5 of them. And, congrats, Browns.
And they're actually, about 30 seconds away from being 1-1-3? They won 1 and lost 1 just at the last second.
That was the ugliest game-winning field goal I may have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, apparently Phil Necro taught him how to kick that.
Compare that to the Graham Gano 63-yarder that he kicked.
Well, but you take that over Mason Crosby, because if you're the Packers right now, you're trying to wonder. By the way,
well,
Lions,
we were talking about this before the show started. Might as well throw it out there.
I have been told sort of third hand that they're checking the kickers' balls like in the post-Bradygate era, that kickers' balls were an item of concern this year, and so apparently you can't microwave them or scuff them up or file them down or bounce them a lot. So I think some of the reason we're seeing the longer kicks is the balls are harder and fresher. They're going to go further because you're banging the living snot on them, but you're not going to control them as much because it's coming off your foot and it's doing whatever it does. And if that's true, that would explain part of this. And oh, by the way, some of the old kickers that aren't used to it are the ones getting burnt the most. But kicking's been weird this year.
Yeah, but and Norm and I, we went to Ralphie's on Sunday and we're talking about it, and he doesn't like the moving back to extra point because, well, do you really want a game decided on an extra point? Well, if you weren't going to back it up, why not just make it a 7-point touchdown and skip the extra point because it was too easy?
Well, there was a debate like 10 years ago about games being decided by field goals, and they wanted them decided by touchdowns. Remember that?
Stupid.
So we've gone from that to now games are decided by kicking extra points from an extended distance.
Well, there should be some challenge to it.
Right. If they're going to make 99% of them, what's the point of doing it? You might as well just chalk it up.
But if you go for 2, you get the ball at the 3-yard line.
I'm fine. I have no issue with the change of the rule.
Can you say you're going for 2 and like drop kick it?
Stop it. Stop it. You're in host timeout for throwing that out there. No. I don't know. Who cares?
Drop kick? How much is that worth?
Only one guy's done that since like the 40s. Doug Flutie did it in a game with the Patriots a couple of years ago.
I thought Elway tried one.
He may have.
Because he used to pooch punt quite a bit, too.
Right. But I know Flutie successfully, I think, got an extra point on the drop kick. And that.
I want you to understand, you've just steered the show into the land where we're talking about drop kicks in NFL football.
We can
I'm the one who usually accused of getting this thing off the rails.
Well, we could talk about the Bills-Titans 13-12 game.
Can we adopt an overtime in the NFL?
And all 4 rookie quarterbacks won.
Yes.
Similar. You don't mind. Can we adopt an overtime in the NFL that's similar to college and high school?
No, because those are stupid.
Oh, unlike the current overtime.
At least it's football.
It's stupid.
At least it's football. At least it brings all aspects of the game in. I hate those other ones because it's not football.
Oh, really? All aspects of the game. Like if you kick a field goal to start the overtime, the other team still gets the ball.
Well, that's better than if you make 2 first downs.
But if you get a safety, the game's over. And if you get a touchdown, the game's over.
It's better than it was, and it's better than the other 2.
It's not.
No,
we're going to start at the 25 and see what happens.
No,
and
40. I would put it at the 40.
Oh, so you're just making it up too. At least this is close to football. I hate the other ones.
I hate to break it to you, but all these sports that we talk about have all been made up at some point. All right, they didn't. They weren't handed down by the creator.
In my opinion, football was. It's the only sport that was, God said there will be football. I'm a Cowboys fan. That's why there was a hole in the top of Texas Stadium for years so he could watch his Cowboys
college. God said in college, when your knee's down, you're down. But if you're holding for a field goal and an extra point, you're not considered down.
It's a totally different thing. That's where people goof up God's rules.
No,
that's what happens.
Because if it was put down here by a creator, we wouldn't have a coin toss, okay? Because that is the single stupidest thing.
No, I would prefer, kind of like in baseball where the home team always bats last in extra innings. When you go to overtime, the home team just automatically gets the ball first. So that way, if you're the visitor and you score that touchdown and you can either take the extra point to tie or go for 2 to win, you know that the home team's getting the ball first.
You know where you stand.
Right. You know if the home team gets the ball first, if they drive down and score.
There you go. We'll let John start writing rules because he's got some sense about this stuff.
I've said that too.
Yeah, I took it from him when he was on the radio. I know he brought that up.
Well, never mind. I like it less now.
This is what I have to do. The coin toss is still the stupidest thing that there is. But you know what? I hate to break it to you, but football's still entertainment. That if you watch that Browns overtime, that was not entertainment. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't entertainment.
Neither was the Bill game. And by the way, I watched pretty much the entire Cowboys-Texans game. And while the defense was exceptional, the offenses were awful. I was in favor of their execution.
And what sports without entertainment? Soccer. All right, let's take a time out. We'll talk about Week 6 of the NFL coming up next. You're on the Roundtable show here presented by Ralphie's.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good. At Ralphie's, it's primetime football every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday nights. Enjoy endless wings starting at 8 p.m. each night and carry-out specials every day. Plus special pricing on all Labatt products, plus new craft and IPAs for the fall. As always, beer buckets only $10 Friday and Saturday. Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
Mortgage Marty here. We're here every day here at Fairway how tight the housing market is, how there's just so few great homes out there. And I want to remind everybody, we have a fantastic suite of renovation products. They are basically designed where you can buy a house, borrow extra money over and above the sale price, get contractors lined up, and we pay them after closing. So the work is done after closing. You get to pick who you're going to use, and you can buy that house, fix it up, and create what you want. With as tight as the market is right now, in fact, I have probably a half a dozen customers who are to the point where they're so frustrated they're about to give up. So just think renovation loan.
It's October Obsession as Powerbomb Wrestling is back in action in Toledo on Sunday, October 28th at 5 p.m. St. Clements Hall, 2990 Tremainsville Road. 2 huge steel cage matches headline the card. A triple threat match for the heavyweight title and also a steel cage match decides the tag team championship. Get your advanced discount tickets right now at pbwexcitement.com. It's Sunday, October the 28th at St. Clements Hall, Powerbomb Wrestling. Oh, we're back. Sorry. Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's. Big John Malkowski, Marty Ben. I'm Norm Waymer. All right, week number 6 of the NFL season. There's some good games this week. There are some good games this week. The Lions, by the way, are on a bye, so I know that ruins your weekend.
Okay, continue on.
Yeah, speaking of yawning, we'll get to Dallas at 4 o'clock. We already talked more Dallas than we really wanted to anyway.
Correct. Playing for draft picks. That's what we're doing at this point.
Oh, stop it.
Continue on.
No,
they're half game out.
Yeah, the Redskins lead at 2-2, and if you watch any of that game on Monday.
Okay, so this is like the Indians' playoff fate. So you can make the playoffs and then get spanked like they've done for 15 years now because they're not going to be good enough to advance.
No.
Well, it's like the Indians. I mean, to bring it all back around.
That's what I'm saying. So, no
Indians
thanks.
have lost 9 straight elimination games, by the way. Got to mention that earlier.
Well, the Seahawks won a playoff game at 7-9. It can happen.
They won a playoff game.
Yeah.
Again, that's still kissing your sister. The goal is to be competitive and think we have a shot to win a Super Bowl. Not happening. Continue on.
Are you kidding? Every Cowboy fan I know thinks that every year.
Well, you know one that doesn't, and he's sitting right here.
Yeah, they're not as bad as Steeler fans, but.
Afterward, the show's done, I'll tell you the difference between a Steeler fan and a Browns fan at a bar. But I can't say it on the air.
But you brought it up.
No, continue.
Driving it off the rail. By the way, I needed Breeze to just have a normal night to win my fantasy game. So thanks to your Redskins, I'm now 2-3 in my league. After winning the first
that was wonderful coverage on that.
Well, yeah.
The tie-breaking or the record-breaking pass.
What a cool moment, and to see the kids out there and whatever was awesome for me. It was one of those moments I actually stopped and thought, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like not cliche, not overly staged, just genuine, good guy reaction, family moment, cool thing.
All right, back to week 6.
I'm sorry.
We've been doing this how long? Year and a half now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati is probably the marquee game at 1 o'clock.
Why? Because Cincinnati can't win a playoff game either.
Bengals are 4-1.
Who cares? Until they win in the postseason,
Don't say who cares.
Well,
No, who day?
So it's who day and who dat? I mean,
Yes.
Who cares is the conversation killer. There's plenty of Bengals fans out there. Plenty of Steeler fans out there.
there are plenty of Steeler fans. There aren't that many Bengal fans. And Bengal fans are used to this
There's
happening.
plenty of Bengals fans.
No, I think most of them are in therapy.
Well, now that they keep rehiring Marvin Lewis and keep giving him
That's what I'm
contract
saying.
extensions and becoming fewer and fewer Bengal
You
fans.
know that the Dusty Baker rule is that if you fire the coach or manager because you fail in the playoffs, they'll hire somebody new and you won't get to the playoffs. Which is like the Washington Nationals did.
Yeah.
Okay, and at the end of the day, they both are crappy outcomes. All right, continue on. I'm not believing in the Bengals till.
How many teams do you want to eliminate here in week 5 then?
Oh, it's a long list.
How many? Okay, give me the ones that the only ones that have a chance of winning the Super Bowl.
Rams, Vikings are a 50-50.
Oh, I don't think they're 50-50.
Eagles are 50-50.
They're 2-3.
Yeah.
I understand, but I still think
And they
there's-
lost The running back,
Yeah, I know.
Who
already had a broken back.
Was on my fantasy team.
I'm not counting the Packers out until Aaron Rodgers is hurt again, which there's still time for.
No receivers, no defense.
They couldn't even beat the Lions. Come on.
Maybe the Panthers have a glimmer of hope. And let's see, who else? That pretty much wraps up my NFC list. Let's see, AFC.
See, the problem,
Steelers can't stop a slow leak, so they're
we
done.
get teams all the time come out of nowhere and win the Super Bowl. It's happened many, many times. Steelers one year, I think they were the 6th seed and ended up winning the Super Bowl. But nobody really gave them a chance.
I know.
Look at the Giants with Eli Manning.
The Giants with Eli Manning and a whole bunch of weird catches.
Just because you're depressed about your Cowboys being 2-3, let's just have to extend it every
I'm
other
not
fan
depressed.
base.
I'm realistic.
Because the Bears are in first, too, in their division. Anyway, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati at 1 o'clock is, you can just take a break, I suppose. Cleveland hosts the Chargers.
Yes, and that one will be on TV, too.
If you wonder why Seattle Oakland is a 1 o'clock start, it's not in Oakland, it's in England.
Yes. It's actually a 9 a.m. start or whatever.
I still expect to be able to smell that game all the way here.
Yeah, those two teams haven't go that far to play.
Carolina at Washington.
Yeah, I've seen enough of Washington's defense.
Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Tampa Bay's done now that Winston's back at quarterback. So.
Yep.
4 o'clock. America's team hosting Jacksonville.
Talk about a lack of offense.
Will the Cowboys get 100 yards of total offense in that game?
And will Jackson? I mean, the real Blake Bortles has shown back up. So. I don't know what the over/under is, but if it's 40, take the under. I mean,
that could be a pillow fight. Yeah.
First 1 to 15 wins. Can we?
Bortles threw for 400 and some yards in that Kansas City game.
He's still awful. He's
always
Kansas City
can't stop anybody.
He's always been awful. He'll always be awful. And last year, Fournette in the defense hid some flaws. He's awful.
He's not awful. I bet his numbers are better than Prescott.
Well,
But it's not. See, nothing is Prescott's fault. It's all the receivers' fault. This is all I heard when Romo was playing. It was all Des Bryant's fault.
I didn't say that today. Never mind. Continue.
Not today.
Next game.
Not today.
Move along.
Romo, it was always Des Bryant's fault.
Well, Des ran the wrong route. I mean, I know what it's bad because when I know what the tap sign is because he's calling out the blitz scheme, and then Des runs a stop and go instead of a hitch, and you throw the hitch and it hits the corner right in the chest who runs it for a touchdown, and I get text from him saying, "Oh, great quarterback," and I'm thinking, I know the sign.
We have to go. We got the wrap-up sign. So you didn't see that. Big John, thank you. Marty, thank you. I think Kansas City, New England's a Sunday night game, by the way.
There's good.
But we have to go now because Marty was ranting. All right, Power Bomb Wrestling coming your way at 2 a.m. If you can't catch it, DVR it or catch it on our YouTube channel, Fight.tv, and we'll see you next time on the Front Row Roundtable Show presented by Ralphie's.